I get it. You've quit drinking, you've put the bottle down, you've been in recovery for a little while, and you thought life would get great. You thought you'd be peaceful, there'd be lots of harmony in your life, you'd be joyous and free. But what happened? You became angry as hell. I'm going to tell you something. If you're feeling anger in early recovery, you're in the right place, believe it or not. My name is Terry G. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button. What we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about anger in early recovery. Because I tell you something, anger caused me more difficulties, I used to say, than booze did. So let's get to the video. One of the hardest things I had to deal with in early recovery was emotions. I always say my emotions caused me more difficulties in my life than me being in an active alcoholic life. But that's not true, but I used to think that. I really believed that. And the reason is because I was so emotionally unregulated. The booze muted my emotions. It muted it. It muted my reality. It did everything for me that I thought I couldn't do for myself, if that makes any sense. And I come by it innocently. I didn't grow up to be an alcoholic. I just used booze to help me get through life one day at a time. And because of that, I became an alcoholic. I started to rely on it. I really did. I didn't deal with any resentments. I didn't deal with anything in my life. I really didn't. It was like the alcohol was the dam that held back all the negativity in my life. So when I sobered up, I got irritable, discontent, and I felt so uncomfortable with life. I couldn't handle life on life terms. I was miserable all the time. I didn't have any coping mechanisms. I was very immature. I had a lot of issues going on, a lot of problems. I couldn't hold a job. Who wouldn't be angry in those situations? Who wouldn't be angry? But, that's the truth of it, right? So let's get real, okay? Let's make it real. Who wouldn't be angry in those situations? One of the hardest things that you have to understand when you're in addiction, when you're suffering from active alcoholism, is this. You are not living in reality. You're not. You're not living in reality. You're either living in the past, you're living in your head, you're living from resentments, you're living from false expectations you put on your family. You're living somewhere else, but you're not living in the now. You're not living in reality. You're not handling things as they come up, even if you're not drinking. And that's the truth of the matter. The heavier we drink, the more resentments we have, the more anger we have, the more hurt we have, the more trauma we have, we keep separating ourselves from reality. And that reality is even affects us when we're not drinking. Okay? You got that? You got that? Alcoholism is a mental disorder, just like any other disease. It affects us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. That's what they say in 12-step programs anyways. So why wouldn't you feel angry when you sobered up? Why wouldn't you? If you're anything like me, you've never dealt with nothing. You've never given yourself the opportunity to deal with anything because our addiction took over our life. The addicted Terry G was our reality. But the truth of the matter, it wasn't. It wasn't. Our reality slapped us right in the face when we stopped drinking. Yeah, shit got really real when we stopped drinking. All that old stuff came up like I described earlier, like it was like a dam. Do things for yourself to help you regain yourself. Things you can do, you can go to therapy like I did. Talk about old hurts, old pains, old childhood traumas. Start dealing with issues that come up. Get a mentor. Go somewhere, a good friend, somebody you could give advice to start dealing with things. When it comes to your anger, stop reacting all the time. Maybe pause a little bit, sit back a little bit, and understand what happened. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you a truth. Okay? 100%. You don't have to believe me if you don't want to. And most of you, if you're in active alcoholism, you won't believe me. But if you look after your resentments, I don't care who it's against, how old they are, you look after those resentments. Those resentments, you know, those thoughts you have in the back of your head just before you go to bed, you think, I'm going to get that son of a bitch. Those resentments. You look after those resentments. I don't care who they're about, how small they are, and how senseless you may think they are. Look after them. You do that. You look after your childhood trauma. You look after that. You go and talk to a therapist and you talk about that. Okay? You look after old hurts, old pains. You look after old guilt. Look after your shame. You look after those 4 things, and your anger will slowly start to dissipate. It really will. I always believe that anger is a direct result to the amount of hurt and resentment you have. And those resentments, I just burped, by the way, those resentments can take on many different forms, but they come out as anger. And I'm going to tell you something, another truth about recovery. Okay, you ready? The anger that you express in your recovery is probably not present day anger. It's probably old anger, old coping mechanisms coming up. And that's why we have to deal with things, right? 12-step program, they call them character defects. And I love that word because they're a defect. They cause us issues in our program. They really do. So learn about yourself. Write down your resentments. Talk to somebody, a mentor and a sponsor. I heard in 12-step programs they call it. Do that. And it will help you get more emotionally regulated. Most of our problems when we come into recovery are wreckage from the past and immaturity. They really are. Recovery is not easy because it releases our emotional and mental state into reality. And that can be very, very difficult to handle, especially if you're like me. Drank a lot, never dealt with anything. So you come by your anger innocently, but you need to do something about it. Because if we don't get a handle on emotional regulation, your life will be very, very difficult in early recovery or even long-term recovery. I know people with many, many years still suffer from that anger, those outbursts, and they've never been able to get a grip on it to get an established life in relationships, whatever. They've never had that. Okay? So that's all I'm going to talk about today. This is a general video. This is a video about anger. The main thing is that you're not alone in it. You're not alone in it. You will get better. So don't worry. Well, I shouldn't say don't worry about it. Work on it for you don't have to worry about it, okay? My name is Terry G. This is an alcohol-free life channel where we're learning to live sober one day at a time. You can take a second. Please subscribe. Take another second and hit that like button, okay? I'll see y'all all later. And remember, sobriety is freedom. Sobriety is freedom, okay? Talk to you later. Ciao for now.